I gotta like come up with something I do in this little lull because it cuts off and I don't want to like say anything pertinent in this little area. Okay, welcome back. No, 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 no. Sorry guys, that was so loud. Let me turn off my sound. Okay, I do need to make sure we can see that we don't get cut off. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. I'm Auntie Tay. If you guys are new here, that's who I am. If you're not, welcome back. I've missed you. If you're watching the replay, welcome to the replay. Okay, we're on day 3 of Craft Your Stash, where all summer long we are pulling out all of those projects and crafting together. And I'm trying to give you guys some inspiration to get it done quickly, efficiently, and nicely. And I'm getting into a rhythm. Yesterday, I actually ended the day kind of just like, why did I do this? Why did I pull all these projects out? And I'm like, no, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna push through it. It's only day 3. Get over yourself. And so I was like cutting and weeding, and I was like, I don't know how long, like, I have so many ideas that I want to come out with better videos, but I'm like, but I really do need to cut and weed. So I decided today I would do just not like weeding for 5 hours, like I said, but kind of give some tips and tricks on weeding and my favorite things to do when I weed. So I ended up just cutting 8 sets of the Mama of Girls design. It's actually a game changer design that we have for our members. And it has the flowers, but then it switches up to be like Mama of Boys, Mama of Both, Mama of Girls, Auntie of Both, Mimi of Both, Mima of Both, of Girls, of Boys. So you can switch it all up, but then you just keep the flowers. And so I had 3 rolls of colors that worked perfect. And I was like, let's just use those up for a few, because I've actually got like 4 friends who are 5 who are just Mama of Girls. So I was like, well, I'll cut 5 out and make them, keep them on hand for like if I want to make them a little gift or something, but also just make them and give them to them, because why not? So I'm also Mama of Girls, so I'm gonna make myself one too. But I pre-cut 8 of them, and then I was like, I gotta weed all these, and I was like, when am I gonna go live? And then I was like, let's just do a weeding video. So building blocks, guys. I think for the first week, this week, we're gonna keep building blocking. I woke up dreaming of cutting up the aerial comforter, because I was like, I really want to make something out of the aerial comforter today because it's taking up so much space. But I was like, nope, you're gonna finish heat transfer vinyl. Like, do it. And so I got in here kind of early this morning, started crafting, and I'm feeling good. So let's talk tips and tricks. Hey Missy, hey Jen. Also, if you are coming to the Zoom today, I can only be on for about 20 minutes because I forgot we have a barbecue I got to get down to, which is just a random Wednesday thing. Never do I go anywhere on Wednesday nights. And I was like, oh yeah, there's a barbecue. Nah. So anyways, if you're a business member and you're coming to the Zoom, go to the business member page and click the join now. But I will only be able to be on there for about 20 minutes today. And I'll be back on Monday for a longer version, and then next Wednesday as well. Okay, so my first trick that we've been using for years is to weed on your mat. And it's funny how often I will do this and people will be like, I never thought to weed on the mat. And I'm like, oh, I just started doing it on a whim because it made sense, and then I just always have done it because it holds your project down. We're gonna weed the Mama in white. I kind of want to keep my variables the same, but I'm gonna weed them without my next trick, just to show you how much better. So you see how this is like breaking when it hits a little like curve, and this is a really simple design too. So that leaves you with these little tiny pieces that are kind of obnoxious to have to go back in and get. So my next hack is actually going to help a lot with that. So, and you guys, if you guys aren't new here, you've seen me do all of this stuff, but oh, you guys are gonna hate me for cutting. No one's gonna hate me. Let me just get over that. I'm trying my hardest to save scraps and be scrappy, I guess, and save all those. So my tip is to cut out your design, like cut it out as close to where you cut as possible so you don't have those scraps. You can also add a weeding box, which is another hack that a lot of people like to use, but I just don't enjoy the process of adding a weeding box to my designs. I've debated sometimes designing things with weeding boxes already on them, but it's, again, like, not, it just depends on like the size you want it. So while weeding boxes are good, they take more time on your computer, and I'm just over being on the computer when I'm crafting. Like, that's the last thing I want to do, is be on my computer. So I don't prefer the weeding box. I prefer to manually cut out my design as close as possible. Love your shirt, Tay. Thank you. This is from Five Below. I love Rainbow Bright, and honestly, it's funny because a lot of people don't know who she is, and that's how I know I'm getting older. Watching on my TV, so can't comment much, but I'm here for you. Thanks, Beverly. Yay, I'm on the TV. Weeding on the mat helps so much. Yes, so definitely, like, I don't think I've ever not weeded on the mat, because when I do, I'm like, what is this? This is impossible. So I just don't do it if I don't have to. And you can have like a specific mat you keep for weeding. You don't have to use like your mat. You can use older mats, but you do want them to be pretty sticky because you want it to hold your design down. But that's my first tip. My other tips are to hold it up like this. This is a very basic design, but I like to turn it around and look at it to see if I missed any spots. It's a lot easier to see if you missed them when you turn it right side up, and then you're like, oh, I missed an A. But I think that one's pretty basic, pretty simple and easy. Also, that's another hack, is I bulk cut and then I weed it all at once. I don't cut these apart and weed them unless I was giving them to someone and it's like a project they want to do. Then I would cut them apart. And that might be harder to cut apart pre-weeded because you got to see your designs. I've seen people rub baby powder and get the cracks. I'm not so fond of that for heat transfer vinyl because you're putting it on the glue part. I think that's good for regular vinyl, but heat transfer vinyl, not so much. So there's that. Now I want to show you, let's go to the other mama in black so that way I can show you the same design. So we've been on for a couple minutes, right? So this is the only time I don't weed on the mat. And well, okay, I just literally said I don't ever weed on the mat, or off the mat, but I do in this case. But I will tell you, and I can guarantee you, We Are Memory Keepers would be the first brand to come out with this. And I don't know how I would claim the rights to this idea, but I probably won't. And will I ever make it myself? No. But if they could come out with a sticky mat that heats up, like the light box, garbage. We don't need the light box. It's not sticky. It doesn't warm it up. It doesn't make anything easier except seeing your lines. And I can see my lines just by like reflecting the light like this. That's also another tip. So if you need to see your lines, kind of bend it and the light will reflect off the little lines. Sometimes some colors are a little bit more hard. So this is already cut exactly around the 4 mamas, but heating it up makes it a dream to weed, and you don't want it too hot and you don't want it too cold. I mean, once it gets cooled down, it's not that big of a deal, but you don't want it to get so hot that the glue starts really melting. You just want it to become a little bit more pliable. I learned this from Caesar watching their live streams. They do this on their heat presses. They close the heat press and then they open it and then they use the base. That gets a little too hot sometimes. So I really like this. I have my little ironing board right here, and then I just hit it with my easy press. You can do this with the small little easy press. I do have it set to 400, but you can turn it down if that's too hot. I just let it stay a little warm, and then I rub my heat transfer vinyl on it, and I can feel it. It's not going to be too hot to touch. That's a good indication that it's not too hot, because like I couldn't touch, you know, that. So next tip is to go from the corner of your piece and pull outward, because you don't want to go towards your design. And I want you to see how much better it is when it is warm. Remember how it was like breaking off on all those little pieces? It gets kind of stretchy, and so it literally stays together in one piece. and barely breaks when you keep it warm. And you just kind of have to like do this hand thing. It reminds me of the hand from, what's the Addams Family? But you kind of have to do this to keep it down, and you just kind of work your way around. Do you see how much faster this is going and easy it's going? 100%, 10 out of 10. But if a company could, so if you're watching this and you're part of a company that's going to design this, message me, because I want to be a part of the process, or at least announcing when it comes out. But a warming up sticky mat would be, did you see that? Did you see that? Like, okay, so the mat is good if you don't have any way to heat up an ironing board. You can do this on the little like mats that your heat press comes with, but I don't know where mine is. So an ironing board is good. I would say that I do this on like my granite countertops when I'm crafting on granite countertops, but they get cold so fast. And that's actually a hack, is when you're trying to cool your heat transfer vinyl down, popping it on your countertops and rubbing the heat out with the countertop coming through. That's just a bonus for today. That has nothing to do with weeding, but I love that tip. So do you guys see that? So if you can heat up your weeding parts, that is 100% gonna make your process a little bit faster. And then I go in, okay, so weeding on that when it's cold, not so good though. So another thing is I love these two. So this one is the pointy, just straight pointy. I have a love-hate relationship with this one. I don't know if you guys can see it, as it almost just gouged my hand out. It has this little hooky. So these are by Park and Lane. No, they're not. 405. Oh yeah, these are from Hobby Lobby. So these are the Hobby Lobby basics. Is 405. That's really cute. 405. Is that a Hobby Lobby, their specific brand? But it has this little tooth on the end, which is really good for grabbing your heat transfer vinyl, and then it kind of like slides up on there. And so you can do like 4 or 5 pieces in a row and then slide them off. However, this thing gouges like bad. So it's dangerous, but it's worth it sometimes. I like it for the scraps. So when I'm going in to do all the little pieces, I definitely like, because I'll show you. So you grab it, and then it slides on, and then you can go in and grab more, and then they stay on there. You can grab like 4 or 5, depending on, you can see how it's not the best when it's cold. Okay, so see, all 4 or 5 on that one, and then you just, that's my next weeding tool hack. Weeding hack is to keep a garbage can by you. It gets messy real quick, and if you can just automatically throw it in a garbage or one container and then dump that, then that could be helpful. And also trying to keep your scraps handy, because if you accidentally throw a little piece away that you need, getting into them without it being like a yucky garbage. So there's that. That's 8 of these, but they have flowers. So I cut, sorry guys, stems. I had everything Rainbow Bright and Strawberry Shortcake, everything as a kid. I loved Rainbow Bright. I wasn't a huge fan of Strawberry Shortcake, but my girls were, because Strawberry Shortcake came out again, another round, and I always wanted them to come out with another Rainbow Bright version, because I would dream about Rainbow Bright. I would be like riding on her big horse, and I would be on rainbows, and I think it had to do a little bit with the Mario Kart. I loved the Rainbow Road level, and so like I would dream that I was riding her horse on like rainbows, but it had like an element of that Rainbow Road thing going on. I would dream it all the time, and so I was just like, Rainbow Bright is my jam. She's my favorite, and she's more of like an 80s nostalgia than a 90s nostalgia. So it's like a fine line before people forgot about her. But yeah, I have a couple friends in their 20s, and I was wearing this shirt, and they were like, cute shirt. Who is that? And I was like, it's Rainbow Bright, brother. What? You don't know? So yeah, she's fizzled out in some of the And now you've got that Labubu thing. And I'm like, you guys, we had so many cute characters as kids. Strawberry Shortcake was so cute. I love that Strawberry Shortcake and Rainbow Bright both have like all the friends that are colors because it's just so cute. It's kind of like Tinkerbell. It's been there, done that, but it's my favorite. And that way if you have like a favorite color, then you can have a favorite character. But Labubu, can we talk about the Labubu thing? I'm sorry, but they are not cute. I thought everybody was on a consensus that they looked creepy. And then I saw Ivy's video of her daughter. And yes, it was cute because it was her daughter. But the Labubu itself was not cute. I was like, I'm sorry, you just called that thing cute. I don't think it's cute. I think they're creepy. But to each their own. Where do you guys stand on those? Do you guys even know what I'm talking about? Landis actually told me about them. And then I was like, I think I know what those are. And then I started seeing them everywhere. I'm like, no way these things are that popular. They're so weird looking. Looks like I'm going to have to go to the thrift store to find a small ironing board. I like the idea of not breaking as you pull the vinyl, right? And this is a small one from the thrift store, and I put this fabric on it years ago. Like this thing was in my first original YouTube videos, this color. And I've been I'm like, what color? I need to make it a new color. And it's so gross right now. You see how fast that weeds when it warms up? Oh, it's like butter. I love it. But yes, it's definitely worth it. It'll save you time. Oh my gosh. This has, okay, so I'm going to, part of me has like saved some of it for the actual video because this will be a video on oh wait, do these, you know what, I'm gonna start designing with myself in mind. Okay, these are not outlines. That's the actual stems. That's what they look like. So they don't have, I was thinking they all had little holes and they don't. So this design is a good